Around 2,000 years ago, Pompeii thrived as a vibrant and wealthy city in what is now southern Italy. However, in the summer of AD 79, disaster struck when the nearby Mount Vesuvius volcano erupted. The eruption unleashed a massive release of smoke and toxic gases, reaching up to 20 miles high in the sky and rapidly spreading towards the town. In a matter of hours, Pompeii, along with its population of approximately 10,000 residents, disappeared beneath a thick layer of ash seemingly overnight. Inspired by the historical significance, J. Paul Getty made a decision to recreate the accents and aesthetic of one of the original luxurious villas in Pompeii. This involved incorporating similar features, materials, and floor plan. J. Paul Getty, born into a wealthy family, achieved great wealth primarily through his ventures in the oil industry. His introduction to the business began during his childhood, as he accompanied his father to the oil fields in Oklahoma during summer breaks from school. At the age of 11, he witnesses his first oil strike, an experience he described as an unique thrill in his autobiography. After completing his studies, Getty's father encouraged him to try his hand at summer oil prospecting. It turned out that Getty possessed exceptional skills, with a tolerance for risk and a keen ability to assess the landscape for potential oil wells. He made his first million by the age of 23 and promptly retired. However, Getty's passion for the oil industry let him return to the oil company he had established with his father in 1919. He assumed leadership after his father's death in 1930. In the late 1940s, he successfully negotiated a 30-year oil concession in the neutral zone between Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. This venture was considered highly risky at the time, as oil had never been discovered in the area. Nonetheless, Getty's exclusive right to prospect for oil proved highly lucrative in the 1950s. Under Getty's guidance, the company transformed into a global conglomerate involved in all aspects of oil production, from exploration to shipping. In addition to oil, Getty expanded his business ventures to include hotels and the company manufacturing mobile homes. In 1957, Fortune magazine bestowed upon him the title of the richest man in the world. Getty's passion for art collecting began in earnest in the 1930s. Although he had been a collector throughout his life, even as a child, he collected marbles and stamps, documenting his pursuits in his diaries, a habit he maintained throughout his life. While art collecting was a common practice among Getty's wealthy peers, Getty approached it with genuine enthusiasm. In 1965, he expressed, "My collecting over the years has been a labor of love." Getty's taste in art evolved, influenced by his travels and visits to museums and historical sites during his business trip. He relies on trusted advisors and took pleasure in finding good deals, while also maintaining a deep interest in the technical quality and provenance of artworks. He believed that paintings and sculptures should be displayed in settings of equal quality, perhaps influenced by his appreciation for house museums. During the late 1940s, as his art collection continued to grow, Getty decided to display it at his 64A Malibu ranch. Recognizing the environmental similarities between the Southern California coast and the Bay of Naples in Italy, he embarked on the construction of a new museum building in 1970. This building was modeled after the luxurious Villa de Papiri, which had been destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Getty held great admiration for Lucius Calpurnius Piso Caeninus, the father-in-law of Julius Caesar, who was believed to have owned the original villa. Wealthy Romans were known to own multiple residences, often seeking refuge from the scorching heat of the capital city by retreating to opulent estates along the Mediterranean coast, particularly the Bay of Naples. Villa dei Papiri was one such lavish private residence located on the Bay of Naples, just outside the town of Herculaneum. Buried deep by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, the remains of the Villa dei Papiri were rediscovered in 1750s by well diggers. 18th century excavators faced challenges such as poisonous gases and underground collapse, but still managed to extract intricate floor, frescoes, and sculptures, making it the largest collection of statuary ever recovered from a single classical building. They also unearthed 1,000 carbonized papyrus book rolls, which gave the villa its modern Italian name. Due to being buried by the eruption of the mountain Vesuvius, a significant portion of the villa remained unexcavated. As a result, the architect of the Getty villa drew inspiration from various architectural and landscaping features found in other ancient Roman houses located in Pompeii, Herculaneum, and Stabiae. The scale, appearance, and certain materials used in the construction of the Getty Villa were influenced by the Villa dei Papiri, including its floor plan. The gardens at the Getty Villa also served practical functions in Roman houses and villas, providing spaces for plant cultivation, refuge from the heat, and allowing natural light and air to enter the interiors. At the villa, certain garden areas were designed to showcase wealth and refined taste. The grandest of these spaces was the outer peristyle, adorned with numerous decorative and intellectually stimulating bronze sculptures, reproduction cast of these original bronzes. Excavated from the Villa dei Papiri can be found throughout the gardens of the Getty Villa. The outer peristyle, with its colonnades, provide a serene setting for strolling and conversation. The central focus of the outer peristyle is a long, prominent pool that served as a swimming area and a fish farm, measuring approximately 1 meter in depth. From the creation of the Getty Villa, Getty assembled a team comprising architects, archaeologists, artisans, as well as experts in architecture and garden history. Despite being located abroad in the Middle East due to its business interests, Getty closely monitored the planning and construction of the Getty Villa, which opened to the public in 1974. Until his passing in 1976, Getty remained deeply involved in the development of the museum and the surrounding site. He personally approved all museum acquisitions. However, Getty never had the opportunity to visit the completed museum. He resided in England at his estate, named Sutton Place, from 1959 onwards, having settled this permanently after leaving California in 1951. Getty's fear of flying, stemming from a traumatic flight in 1942, prevented him from making the long journey from Europe to California by ship and rail. Consequently, he did not set foot in the Jaipur Getty Museum, which opened to the public, and passed away 2 years later at his English countryside residence.